Today's video is sponsored by The Jacket Maker, the maker of high-quality, made-to-measure, handcrafted leather jackets for both men and women at, of course, affordable prices. But more about them a little bit later in the video. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it had to happen eventually. Summer is ending. I know. And that means that fall and winter will be here before you know it. So, in preparation for the colder months, I wanted to talk about some of the fall and winter fashion trends that you're probably going to start seeing very soon in some form or another. And look, I spent quite a bit of time on this video looking at all the top menswear designers, trying to sort out who's doing what. But not only that, what are some of the consistencies that a lot of different designers are also doing? Because if they all seem to be showing very similar things, that's a pretty strong indication of what's about to come. So if you're ready, hit that like button to appreciate the time that I invested in this video, and let's get started. Okay, first things first, it's pretty hard to ignore oversized fits. And this has been coming for the last couple years, and it's starting to take hold in some mainstream retail. You're seeing it pretty much on all the runways, from Dior to Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Prada, and Gucci. We're seeing the oversized trend in everything from pants to sweaters, jackets, and even shoes and boots. And we'll get into some of those specific areas in just a minute, but as you can see, it's everywhere. Now, I do need to point out that a lot of the stuff that you see on the runway is mostly art. This is mostly conceptual and built for show. However, it can be a pretty good indication of the things that are coming. Now, maybe not necessarily in those specific forms, because designers need to scale down their general idea to fit in mainstream retail and what people will actually buy. And that's what we're talking about. Because you're not going to walk into Macy's and see anything quite like what you see on the runway. So rest assured, my friends, there's no need to panic and worry about changing out your entire wardrobe. I talk a lot about trends on this channel, and I like to always recommend avoiding those big trendy trends because I believe following those really fast-moving trends would be a mistake for the average guy, especially in the over 40 age bracket. Classics will always be your best bet. However, though, with all that said, there are some things that we can learn from what's trending to use to our benefit. Okay, the next item that's trending is coats and jackets. Big, long coats and some new variations of the puffer jacket and bomber jacket. I might also add here to pay attention to the cinched waist because it's all over the place. And so to begin with, overcoats, trench coats, and even some robe-style coats with a tie at the waist are trending. And I think that's probably inspired by how much time everybody has been spending indoors wearing pajamas and bathrobes. So the cinched waist is interesting because you're kind of seeing it incorporated all over the place. Now, of course, you don't need to run out and buy an overcoat 5 sizes too big and put a seatbelt at your waist. But this is telling us that coats are trending. So we can still incorporate an overcoat, a pea coat, or a bomber jacket, but in a way that's more flattering to our specific frames. And technically you're still on trend, but in a much more classic manner. Something else you might notice more of this fall and winter is the use of red, burgundy, and tan. You'll also notice a lot more monochromatic outfits. So we're seeing a lot less contrast and more neutral tones from head to toe. And I've always really been a fan of monochrome because it's easy to pull off and it can help to visually give you a slim and streamlined silhouette. The next trend is leather. Leather everything, from leather jackets, leather shirts, leather bags, leather pants, and leather shorts. But not only leather, but vegan leather. Now, vegan leather can be a little more comfortable to wear because it stretches more, but it also tends to crack and wear out a little bit faster. So if wearing natural leather isn't your thing, there's tons of options out there in vegan leather. And since we just mentioned bomber jackets and now we're talking about leather, this is a great segue to talk for just a minute about today's sponsor, The Jacket Maker. And as you know, there's tons of places online for made-to-measure shirts and suits. but it's not very often you come across a place that makes quality, made-to-measure leather jackets for men and women. It all starts with the raw materials. They don't use anything but the best possible materials like full-grain natural leather and YKK zippers. All their products are handmade, one at a time, with precision and attention to detail that you'll see in the stitching. They have a direct-to-consumer approach, and their products come in at about a quarter the price of what luxury brands might sell for. They also offer a complete bespoke service, so you can have your dream jacket custom made. Just hit that first link down below in the description and go take a look. Okay, let's talk about wide leg pants for a minute because they are literally everywhere. And some designers have taken it to an extreme where the pants are like 10 inches too long, but even some of the more conservative runway approaches are showing a pretty wide pant leg. I would love your feedback on this one specifically, so please leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts on the wide leg pants. I think the wide leg pant is here to stay because it's been trending for the last several years and it's already in retail stores like H&M and Zara. But I, for one, am not jumping on the wide leg bandwagon just yet. So there's no need to panic and toss out all your slim fit trousers, but I will keep you posted. Okay, for this next trend, I'm gonna group a bunch of different categories all together in one, and that's knitwear, sweaters, sweater vest, polos, turtlenecks, and also corduroy. Knit vests and sweaters are pretty much on all the runways. Everybody seems to be doing some sort of knit sweater and turtleneck. There's also a new take on the polo shirt and the sweater vest. Now, what this means is that your old heavy cable knit sweaters from the 90s are back in style. Turtlenecks are literally everywhere. Every single designer is showing some type of turtleneck, so it's pretty hard to miss. So this one's kind of interesting for me because I currently don't own any turtlenecks. Now, part of the reason might be because I live in a very warm climate, but you can bet that I'll be looking into some type of turtleneck coming up this fall and winter. But another interesting thing is that polo shirts are being shown with a lot bigger and oversized collars. And I like polo shirts, and I have several, but most of mine are, of course, pretty traditional. So this is something that I'm going to keep my eye on over the next few months, especially as we get through winter and get into next spring. Another trend is loud prints and graphics. There's a lot of crazy prints and patterns, and plaid is kind of a popular one. But some of it for me looks a little distracting and messy, and that's coming from someone who wears a lot of prints and patterns. So this is something that I will be keeping my eye on, but I wouldn't worry too much about hitting this particular trend at the moment. But if you're into prints and patterns, feel free to experiment. But I might suggest maybe waiting until the trend sort of chills out a little bit to see what we're left with after all the dust settles. So that's what I've got for you guys today. But before you go, please leave me a comment, seriously, and let me know what you think about some of these new cold weather trends coming up because I would love to hear from you guys on this. And as always, please take 1.5 seconds to hit that like button so YouTube can show this video to more people who might want to see it. And with that, my friends, thank you very much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.